Funny story, guys. Life is wild right now. Okay, here we are. And we are doing a podcast, not just in my car, but in the back seat of my car. The front seat, there's too much sunlight, and I want to get some video footage for Jack. And I guess that's not the most important thing. The most important thing is why am I in the back seat of my car? Life is wild right now, even for me. If you've been with me for a while, you know, tend to encounter some drama sometimes in life, but this is a new level. I feel weirdly calm. Maybe I'm getting way too comfortable with chaos. Maybe I'm getting really good at grounding myself. I don't know, but let me tell you what's going on in life right now. Where do we begin? Months ago, we bought a house. My husband and I bought a house that is a fixer-upper, and we knew that. We knew going in, she's a fixer-upper, she's going to need a lot of work, but she has so much potential, and she's in a neighborhood we wanted to be in with the kids, and we just loved everything about it, but we knew it was going to be a lot of work. And to be totally fair, I definitely led out on the whole let's get a 100-year-old house and fix it up. And I did that for a couple of reasons. Number one, I love old houses. I love historical properties. I love the history of the space. In fact, I actually hate new builds. No offense to anyone who lives in like a newer home. I just like the character and the sort of funkiness of an old house. When we moved back to LA, we just sort of found a place to live. We rented because we were in a hurry. We were trying to get back in the summer before the kids went to school. It was like a whole thing. So we came back, just get in where you fit in. We did that. But I had sort of been on the lookout for a potential spot. And I was looking in and around where we were because we really liked the neighborhood. It was very walkable. You've probably seen me on social media on 1,000 walks. Easy to walk to get coffee, easy to, go on long runs. Wasn't too far from the kids' school, very central. It was just like all the things. It worked really well. And I would occasionally go and like all anyone who's like a home, like dreams of having a home or dreams of moving, we all do the same thing. We all go creep on Zillow. Y'all, I look on Zillow in states I don't even live in. I'm like, what's happening in, Milwaukee these days? What's going on? You ever seen those magazines? And now they have YouTube channels that are completely devoted to like, you can get this house in Massachusetts for like $100,000. Like, do you ever, you know what I mean? Like, and it looks like where those kids lived and Hocus Pocus. Wow. You're like, that's it. I'm going to load it all up. I'm going to go be a coastal grandma. This is who I am. I just daydream via Zillow. So I've been doing that for a couple of years since we moved back to LA. And I really feel that things like that, things that are so big, so massive, big life choices, I feel like they're guided. I feel like God guides our path and kind of shows us where we're supposed to go. So I just felt like when the time was right, it all would be revealed. Several months back, it was a Saturday morning, I was having my coffee, much like today, probably in the same exact sweatshirt, not in the back of my car, but same vibe. I went on and I saw this house. And to be totally honest, the house was priced significantly lower than anything I had seen. To be fair, we were renting in a neighborhood that was really nice and then couldn't afford to buy anything. Like, let's just be straight up. Couldn't afford to buy anything in the neighborhood we were in, but I just kept looking. I thought, well, maybe someday. And I see this house about 10 minutes from where we were. I'm like, holy crap. So what does your brain do? It's like, what's wrong with this house? It's not an accident. No one accidentally prices a house like this. And then I did the thing we all do on Zillow. I scrolled to the bottom of the Zillow thing and I looked to see how long it's been on the market. And this house had been on the market for over a year. So it's over a year, price way too low. I'm like, oh no.
It's beautiful. I know. Something must be wrong.
Something's going to be wrong. And I see that the house it's an open house the next day. I'm like, wow, that's that's cool. 10 minutes from where I live, open house. I had not gone to an open house in LA. I figured, let's go in. Let's see what's worth seeing. And as soon as we walk in, I just love it. It's like Spanish style, which is my favorite. Spanish style revival, really popular in Southern California, at both LA and Santa Barbara. And I was like, oh man, this is a dream. Like beautiful archways, beautiful stone, original tile, but also everything else is original too. So the house is 1928, so almost 100 years. And in that time had two owners, which is amazing. Like two families own this house, which means like just generations of families really enjoyed it for a long time. But it also means that remodels aren't really a thing. So we're walking through and we can see, like I can see what she could be, but I could also see how much work it was going to be. Original bathrooms, which means original plumbing, which means you open up those walls, there's going to be all kinds of problems. I just see it all. Okay. Kez was super down. Definitely trepidation on his part. I usually have that effect on men because he's never done a remodel. Is this safe?
Huh?
Is this safe?
Probably not.
This would be my third full remodel, and I definitely did a lot of stuff when we were in Texas. Not remodels, but definitely did a lot of like construction and add-on and stuff. So he was down, he was scared, and I said, let's just make an offer. Let's make an offer that's lower than what it's listed at, and let's see what happens. And let's write a letter. You always got to write a letter. So I wrote a letter explaining to the owner who had grown up here. It's like a big deal. They, if someone grows up in a house, you want them to know, like, we're going to raise our kids here. I'm going to put a garden in the backyard. I'm going to restore this to what it was. In LA, a lot of people buy properties like this because they want to raze them to the ground and build what I would call a McMansion, just like a box. It's so ugly, no life, no nothing, but they're really popular in LA. And actually that was the real estate agent who was selling this house. Their specialty is these older historic homes, and they really pride themselves on like trying to find people who are going to restore them, not destroy them. Because don't get me on a soapbox, but it is my podcast, so let's just slide it over for 1 minute. When we destroy those homes, that history is gone forever. And then you have a bunch of things that all look the same, and the neighborhood all looks the same, and yeah, the plumbing works right, and it drains properly when you take a shower, but who wants that? We make an offer, we go back and forth. They immediately like sort of try and negotiate. And one of my favorite quotes in business is, the person who wins a negotiation is the one who cares the least. Love that. And it's really important to remember when you're going into a process like this. I think so many people really want to buy a home and they buy beyond what they can afford. They get something that is not possible for them to upkeep, and then they're house poor, which is like you buy into a house and then the only thing you have money for is your mortgage. And I didn't want to do that. And it was really strategic. Like, hey, we can get a house and we can get it in this neighborhood, but in order to get in this neighborhood, we're going to have something that requires work. I really wanted the house, but I didn't want it enough to make a bad financial decision. And we, stick to our guns and just sort of go, okay, like it is what it is. If it's meant to be, it'll be meant to be. And we got the house. Started construction, which is in 2 phases. Keep in mind, phase 1, phase 2. Phase 1 is the bathrooms. There are 3 bathrooms in this house. They all needed to be redone, all the plumbing, the whole thing. We're like, great. We are not going to move into this house for months. We're going to be strategic. We always go to Hawaii for the summer. We'll go to Hawaii for the summer. We'll start phase 1. It's my podcast. He's not here, so I'm just going to tell you the truth. I did not want to hire a contractor. I didn't want to hire a contractor because I had done this a few times. There are some great resources now where you can find vendors to do remodel projects. I used to be a wedding planner.
Did you know that she was an event planner at some point?
Shut up. This is his favorite joke. Him and the teenagers love to give me crap because I'm like, oh, well, when I was an event planner. And he's like, we know.
Contractors and wedding planners work the same way. They're going to charge a percentage. side note, in case someone's like, wait, I'm a wedding planner. That's not how my business works. In wedding planning, you can hire someone who's going to come in on the day of and they're going to plan the whole thing, right? They're going to come in on the day of, they're going to handle the day of, they're going to handle some last minute details. That's a straight fee, right? Back in the day, that was $1,500. You would pay me, this was years and years and years ago, you'd pay me to come in and I'd handle your wedding on the day of. I'd take you through the rehearsal, we'd get through the day, I'd manage, I'd answer all the questions, I'd be that person. That was like $1,500. But then there were people who wanted full planning. Like I do everything. I bring in the designers, the florists, the rentals, the whole deal. That started, and guys, again, I know prices are different, but that started at 10 grand. It started at 10 grand to plan everything. And it went up from there depending on the scale of the wedding. But here's the deal with that kind of wedding planning. You upcharge everything. So if we're going to handle everything, I'm going to bring in your florist, I'm going to bring in your rentals, I'm going to do all of this. I'm also going to charge 20% on top of whatever the florist is charging me. Contractors work the exact same way. So a contractor is going to bring in those vendors, and hopefully if they're smart, they're getting a reduced rate because they're hiring that plumber for 15 jobs. And then they're charging you on top of what it costs to get the plumbing done. So I was like, I'm a smart girl. My husband's a tour manager for 20 years. I'm like, if anyone can handle logistics, it's this guy. I was like, let's just be our own contractor. And he's like, yeah, but I've never done this before. And I don't want to make a mistake. I would feel so much better if we hire a contractor. So I'm like, okay. In a conversation like that, the one who is going to handle most of it, they get to choose. He was going to handle most of it, right? I'm working very intense hours, got this show for you, got all the stuff that I'm doing. So I'm like, I'm going to let him decide. And we decide to hire a contractor. He finds this person. He really likes them. Not my favorite, but again, like get the job done. We start phase 1. We go to Hawaii. Things are trickling. Things are happening. I was very nervous about what happens to a project when you are not there to oversee it. Very nervous about this. But we got our guy. He sends us updates. It's fine. And for frame of reference, that project, phase 1, supposed to be done on July 8th, I think. And maybe we added a few extra days after we were doing something. I don't remember. July 12th, let's call it. Y'all, I am recording this for you in August. July 12th, all of phase 1 is supposed to be done. All of it. I'm recording this for you in August. And right now we have one working bathroom. Just for clarity, that bathtub broke 2 days ago, so we didn't have a shower. So we had to call an emergency plumber to come out and fix it. You know, I'm not even going to get into complaining about how bad it was. Okay, I'm not going to get into that. Just know it's August. Phase 1 was supposed to be done beginning of July, which I knew. When you are doing a remodel, you know that it's going to take twice as long. It's probably going to cost twice as much. Fine. But it was so far behind. Our whole schedule was dependent on little kids go to summer camp. When we got back from Iceland, we took Jackson to Iceland, we were moving in. And they knew this. We were like, we have to have working bathrooms. We are moving back in. We moved back in about a week and a half ago. The contractor was like, don't move back in. Like, I'll get you an Airbnb. I'll set you up. I was like, homie, I can't have an Airbnb. My kids start school in a couple of weeks. And maybe you don't understand this, contractor dude, but I got to get these kids scheduled. We have to get in a routine. Like, I can't be, obviously we can do anything, right? But I would prefer not to be in an Airbnb when I got to get my 8-year-old ready for school in 3rd grade. Like, I just can't do that. So they get us this one working bathroom. We come in and we're like, it's fine. It's fine. And I can't even tell you how many things were wrong. Please know, I'm a mess. I am recording this podcast in the back of my freaking car. It is so hot in here because I can't turn on the air because it would mess up the quality of the sound. The sweat under my boobs is shocking right now. That's boob sweat number 1, boob sweat number 2. Sexy. I'm a girl who makes it work. So I am not the persnickety, go around the house like this is wrong. And no, I'm like, whatever, it's working, it's fine. No, it was so bad. It was really like light switches that don't do anything, fans that don't work, holes in the wall. There needs to be that here.
For sure. So let's send a note to him.
Mm-hmm. And this is just on the one thing they've done. Still have 2 completely unfinished bathrooms. It was such a nightmare. And just every day it got worse and worse. We kept finding problems. And I'm like, we have to fire this guy. We have to fire this guy. Also, like one of those people who thinks you're dumb. You know, like you're like, oh, there's a exhaust fan. And then if we turn on the switch for the exhaust fan, nothing happens. And he's like, oh, yeah, no, that's not, that switch isn't for the exhaust fan. That switch is for like the sconce. And we're like, what sconce? Like just like, or, oh, no, that's not how, oh, yeah, he's coming back. Oh, yeah, we got that thing. Just like, be honest. Just be honest. Just like say, oh, we didn't get that, or we like messed that up, or we're going to fix that. Like, just tell the freaking truth.
You can't handle the truth.
In this day and age, I feel like it is so easy to Google. It is so easy to YouTube. It is so easy to ask AI what's real and what's not real. Like, don't lie. So just the more that happened, the more I'm like, we cannot trust this person. We can't trust this person. And here's what's wild. I'm not going to say their name. I'm not going to say their name because that's their karma. You treat people badly, that's coming back around to you. But as a side note for further tea, this company was so highly reviewed, like 5 stars, glowing stars. And I was like, how can you have so many amazing reviews and give such crappy service? I'll tell you. I go back after the fact and I'm like, let me review this. This is like a life lesson that I just learned that maybe we all need to learn. I'm like, I have to go read these reviews because people are like, they're like, I would give this company my firstborn child. They are in love with this contractor. I go read all the reviews. This guy, his name isn't mentioned in any reviews, not one. Every single review talking about someone else. And I'm like, what's going on? So whatever, that's not my problem. We got, hoodwinked, fine, who cares? We cut our losses. Send an email, we're like, thank you, but no thank you. We will pay for the work that has been done. Do not come back. Because here was the other thing. Once we were in the house, all these vendors were coming into the house. Some of them were amazing. I want to give credit where it's due. The people who did our hardwood floors and the guy who did the tile, amazing. Beautiful energy, kind souls, phenomenal work. Other vendors would come in the house and I'm like, this guy's creepy. Like, I don't feel good with this person in my house. Plus, there's like no contractor here checking the work. This is too much. Y'all don't care. Anyway, Kez sends an email, not me. And here's the beautiful thing about Kez. He is the nicest. You've heard me talk about him. He's like Yoda. He's so calm. He's so chill. But are any of you like this? Like, I'm emotional. I can't hold my whatever. Kez, everybody loves Kez. He's so gentle. He's so kind.
We got an ant infestation. Kills ants on contact.
I don't want to kill the ants.
Oh,
I just want to deter them away from it.
But if you cross him, you're going to meet a whole side of him you've never seen before. It's so sexy. Let's go. Not rude. Not just like bing, bing, bing. Like he sends an email. All this stuff. We're done. Get your situation, get your porta potty out of our driveway. We had a porta potty in our driveway because that's what you got to do when you're under construction. I'm like, our vendors we have the one working toilet now. You can just use that. He sends a strongly worded email. I got turned on. I was like, yes, handle that. Handle it. Let him know. He's like, we're done. Lo and behold, our contractor, you can't see me right now unless you're watching this on YouTube. Our contractor was a project manager. He's not the contractor. He doesn't own the company. Nobody ever told us that. He didn't tell us that. He came the first day. He's like, hey, what's up? I'm here from this company. We assume he's the contractor. No. So we get a very worried call from the owner of this company who's like, my customers are everything. Like, let me make this right. I'll handle it myself. I'll blah, blah. And we're like, we don't trust you at all. The fact that we didn't even know that this person coming to our house was not you. When someone shows you who they are, believe them. Why are you going to give a vendor a second like, there's so many. Come on. So we fired our contractor. That's a thing that happened. We fired our contractor and we are now in the place that I always wanted to be. not really always wanted to be, but felt like was the best choice, which is we are being our own contractor. That was already crazy. Kids come home from camp. Everyone's home, right? And there is no kitchen. For clarity, the kitchen is down to the studs, all right? We got a makeshift kitchen set up in the dining room. We're getting it. We're getting through life. We're getting things done. Kez, unfortunately, had a death in the family and had to go back to London unexpectedly. And will likely be there for a couple of weeks. It's already wild here, and now it's just me. And I shouldn't say just me, because Jackson is here for another month before he goes off to college. And I didn't know this, you guys, but I have secretly been raising the greatest assistant I didn't know. This kid is efficient. This kid is like Andy in Devil Wears Prada.
Oh, no, I made 2 copies and had them covered, reset, and bound so that they wouldn't look like manuscripts. This is an extra copy to have in file.
I'm not the devil. I want to be as fabulous as Miranda Priestley, but if I needed an Andy to my Miranda Priestley, Jackson getting it done, running 1,000 errands, calling people on my behalf. That happened because he's like, Mom, I have a month. I really want to get a job. He applied a bunch of places, but like, no offense to him, he doesn't have a lot of job experience, and a coffee shop doesn't want to hire someone for 5 weeks. So I was like, well, I can use your help, and he's just crushing it. So between me and Jackson, we are now the contractors of this house. My number one priority in life is recording this podcast episode because it is so behind. And the team is like, Rachel, seriously, we need an episode. Recording this episode for you and getting the other bathrooms done. Just getting the other bathrooms done would literally change our lives right now. So in order to get the bathrooms done, we had to have drywall finishing done. The drywall was up, but it wasn't finished. I am learning so much. Drywall finishing done, which I found someone to do. Sweet man came in and was like, yep, I can knock this out in 3 days. Took 6, whatever, we're happy it's done. He was supposed to drywall and paint, but bless him, it took a while. And at that point I was like, buddy, your average daily rate is just going down so much, meaning like you are working too much on this job for the amount of money you're charging. And also, I'll just paint it myself. Because I knew if I painted it myself, it would be faster. So he finishes. He heads to the downstairs bathroom. Kez left on a flight in the evening. So we were like, we have 1 day to paint this bathroom. And because it's new drywall, you got to prime it first. So you got coats of primer, then 2 coats of paint, plus the ceiling. Have you ever painted a ceiling, guys? That is a kind of hell that I didn't know. It is so hard. It involves a lot more abs than you think it should. I had already been like moving, cleaning. You can hear my allergies. They're out of control because all the dust with cleaning this house and probably breathing in whatever is in the walls. It's fine. Jesus will protect me. Electrician comes today to the lights. Plumber comes tomorrow to put in the plumbing. But today I need to go down and paint the downstairs bathroom so the same people can do the same stuff on the same timeline. It's a lot. What I really would love to do right now is just to go to my new office. Did I tell you guys I got a new office? No. We'll do that in another episode. For the first time in 5 years, I got an office outside the house, which is so necessary because of construction, everything that's happening. But I can't go there because there's so much going on here and I can't just like leave the kids with like random vendors. I ordered a closet system from IKEA because I just couldn't figure out how you put a closet in. And I do not want to wait however long it takes to have a custom closet done. So I was just like, IKEA. I went on Pinterest like we do. I'm like, what are all the other DIY girlies doing? And they're like doing these IKEA, make it look fancy. I don't want to make it look fancy right now. I just want it to be done. I want my clothes to be off of my floor and hanging up somewhere. So all of that to say, we're in a little bit of chaos. It's a little bit wild over here, but I feel like we're doing as well as we possibly can do. For one thing, I'm getting better. I was like, my allergies were so bad. That's why this podcast is so late in coming. My nasal passages were like just completely swollen. I sounded crazy. I recorded 2 attempts to do the podcast and couldn't get anything out for you guys. So I was like, this is garbage. So bless Andrew and bless Jack, because they've been waiting for this for days. I was like sitting having my coffee this morning and really trying to like figure out priorities, because in a season like this, that is what matters most. What are you focusing on? What matters most right now is home, is my nest, is my babies. Like, I know you guys are going to get this. There are so many people, and this is not a gender thing, but I do think that this is a big difference between female entrepreneurs and male entrepreneurs. And I know it's not everybody, like, don't come after me, but like, if you're a mama and you're building a business versus like if you're a dad and you have a partner and like there's someone to help, typically, not always, but typically what's happening at home and what's happening with the kids, with the family, is not always put on the dad entrepreneur. So if you're a mom entrepreneur, you a lot of times have to make decisions. Hey, I could do this thing and it would really grow my business and it would really help in this way. But if I do this thing that really helps in this way and grows the business, it also means sacrificing something at home. And I truly don't know an entrepreneur who is a mother who chooses the business over the family, ever. I don't know that. I think at times that means that when you're a mom and you're an entrepreneur, at times you go a bit slower. You can't move as fast. Yes, certainly you could delegate things out. And if I had like, I don't know, people to do things, I wouldn't need to be here today. I will make the choice about what is best for my family over what is best for my business over what is best for myself 100 times out of 100. When you have kids, when you have a family, or when you have a partner and you sort of have that mindset, it means that things aren't always going to be perfect. It means that things are going to be clunky. If you've been with me for a while, you know I've recorded a million episodes like in my closet, in my car, in my kid's bedroom. Like, this is my reality. I was watching Stephen Bartlett this morning, who I love, Diary of a CEO. I was watching him on YouTube, and he's great. If like, I know his podcast is massive, so you guys must have heard him at this point, but he does this sort of vlog, like day in the life. I was watching him like jet all over the world, and he's in LA and London, and he's in Cannes, and he's like doing this cool. I'm like, this is amazing. And I'm like literally lusting after his life. And I'm just like, I have 4 kids. I can have pieces of that. I can have moments of that, but I can't have it at that level. And that's not a bad thing, because I know that there will be a day, I'm experiencing it right now. My oldest is about to go off to college and he won't be here. And every time I think of that, I'll tell you, there was another mom who told me, she was like, oh, don't worry. By the time, she's like, with my daughter, by the time she left for college, like, we were so sick of each other. We're so ready. I am telling you guys, that is not me. That is no shade to her or anybody else who's like, yes, like, give me freedom and then we'll reconnect at the holidays. I am so close with my kids, and I am so close with my son. And every time I think about him going to college, I could cry right now. Not in front of him. Like, I won't let him know. I'm going to miss him so much. We'll all miss him. Like, our family is so tight and we are so close. And the idea that like one of us is gonna not be here is a lot. But like, that is the choice that you make as a working parent who is committed to the family before you're committed to the business. Like, you have to make money. If your business supports your family, it has to make money. And my business supports my family. Like, I am so grateful for this work and I'm inspired by this work. And whenever I'm like, oh, it could be bigger, I could be doing more. Yeah, but we went through a really harsh change several years ago when we lost the kid's dad. And I became wholly responsible for these children. And that then shifted even more in like, I have a limited time with them. And it doesn't mean I am not trying to pretend that I am one of those parents who is like, I spend 24 hours a day. You know me. That's literally my nightmare. Like, I'm not like homeschooling. I am not that kind of angel. I love my job. I love working outside the home. But I'm always going to make that choice. That's what's best for them. Because I also know that if I do this right, number one, I will launch them all well. They'll launch into the world and they'll be successful, happy, we hope, grounded individuals who are ready to like go do their thing if I do this well. And if I do this well, we'll all be a close family and they'll want to come home at holidays and they'll want to spend time with their siblings and with us. And so that means some sacrifices, sometimes in the direction of the business. I think y'all have heard me talk many times about you have to sacrifice as an entrepreneur. Sometimes it means missing things with the kids. It means you didn't get to go to the school thing or you were out of town on a business trip. And I support that because if you're supporting your family, there are choices that you have to make sometimes that suck. You do miss things. But the trade-off goes in the other direction as well. There are seasons when you have to miss things for work or work can't be as intense as you want it to be or you can't push quite as hard. And it also really requires an abundant mindset. I can absolutely have some weeks where I'm working from home and I'm not producing at the clip that I want to produce and I'm not the output that I want to be at because I have absolute awareness. I have absolute faith in myself and in the universe and in my path that, yeah, and it's going to tip back in the right direction and we're going to have working bathrooms and the kids will be back to school in a couple of weeks and it'll be calmer and we can start a rhythm and then I can invest in the stuff I want to invest in and then I can be writing every day like I want to be writing. But until then, it's going to be clunky. And you know me, I show up even when it's clunky. Maybe especially when it's clunky. Clunky is my brand. So I appreciate y'all being with me. I appreciate if you made it to the end of this podcast, you made it to the end of this video on YouTube. I appreciate you being here. Please know that I'm thoughtful of this community and I really care about the work that we do and the things that we create for you. And it will get better. It will get better, I promise. Bear with us. But in the meantime, follow along on social. I'm trying to post clips of the remodel and where we're at if you're curious about what that looks like. I love you, and I'm rooting for you.